Numerous neurological studies have found that when the basal ganglia or striatum is not working properly, automatic motor control is interrupted, and the cortex must help out. Conscious thought is required to control shifts from one behavior to another. In a person with Parkinson's disease, the broken automatic transmission in the striatum leads to motor rigidity and on-off problems. The gear shift is stuck. The person must think about each little movement and step. In Tourette's syndrome, a disease that is genetically related to OCD, the person develops chronic multiple tics or sudden movements and vocalizations that occur almost without warning. The problem, as we believed it to be with OCD, is that the striatum is not working properly, modulating the cortex. Furthermore, scientists know that people who have damaged their basal ganglia or to the front part of their brain will perform a behavior over and over, even when the person with OCD even when the behavior is no longer useful or indeed is detrimental to them. The person with OCD performs a ritual in response to an obsession, all while knowing it makes no sense. As with these other conditions, we believe this is due to a malfunction in the modulation of the cortex by automatic transmission and filtering systems of the basal ganglia or striatum. Whereas 1 person in 40 in the general population has OCD, OCD occurs in one out of 5 family members and relatives of those with Tourette's syndrome, and 1/2 to 3/4 of those with Tourette's syndrome themselves, lending credence to the theory of genetic association. Frequently, Tourette's victims develop painful arthritis or tendinitis in their joints because of the intense jerking movements that motor tics cause. In essence, they get a strong intrusive urge to move and perform tics to relieve themselves of the discomfort, or they may get vocal tics, starting with an urge to do repetitive throat clearing, an urge that may later develop into yelps, barks, or other animal sounds, or they may start screaming obscenities or racial slurs involuntarily, causing them great stress. Stress makes the urges much worse, as it does in OCD. Primarily, data from our PET scans at UCLA indicate that the putamen, a part of the striatum that sits next to the caudate nucleus and modulates body movements, alters metabolic function in persons with Tourette's syndrome. Many people with OCD also have motor tics, and a lot of people with Tourette's syndrome get compulsive symptoms. What is common to both, we now believe, is the parts of the cortex, probably the motor cortex and tics, and the orbital cortex and obsessions and compulsions are not being properly modulated by the appropriate parts of the striatum. Problems the putamen are related to tics, and problems in the caudate nucleus are related to OCD symptoms. Thus, problems in 2 closely related brain structures that modulate and filter movement or thought seem to underline 2 genetically related conditions that cause difficulty with intrusive movements, tics in Tourette's syndromes, or thoughts, obsessions in OCD. Next, we're going to look at those pragmatic primates. Those pragmatic primates will be the second or I think third part of this chapter.